In today's class, we are going to discuss about what is a broadcast receiver and why do we need them, in what scenario will we need them. So let us see a little bit about broadcast receiver in theory first, and then once I finish the theory, we'll do one program to understand what is this concept. Okay. So what is a broadcast and what is a broadcast receiver? Before even I get into the slide part, I thought I'll give you a brief idea, a general idea of what is a broadcast and what is a broadcast receiver. Okay, in all of our phones, or all of us would have listened to an FM at one point of time. Okay, anything, probably in the earlier days, or even now some people are listening, but basically everybody has come across FM radio. Okay, so what is a radio idea about? Okay, there is a radio wave which is sent, okay, in a particular frequency to a particular locality. Okay, it depends on the transmitter capacity, how long it reaches, and all those things. For example, the main campus of Aloysius College has Saran. Okay, that's also an FM, but it has a very limited area because it covers only Dakshina Kannada, or probably in and around the Mangaluru city. Okay, so what I'm saying is they are the broadcast people. They are broadcasting their service, or they are broadcasting their programs and events and all those, whatever they speak. Okay, all those things are broadcasted. What do you mean by broadcasted? Okay, now I'm not saying only radio, that radio is the best example to understand this, but also TV. Okay, the channels which we are seeing, okay, all those things are broadcast. It's not customized to you, it is sent to everybody. Okay, so whatever you are watching, whichever channel you're watching right now, is broadcasted to everybody. You are having a capacitor, or you have a set-top box, or you have a cable connection which receives that and then displays it to you. So they are the broadcasters, and you are receiving that broadcast and listening to it. Okay, so similarly, when it comes to a radio as the waves are broadcasted throughout a city. Okay, whoever has an FM radio receiver, they can listen to that particular station. This is clear, right? Okay, so this is the idea of a broadcast and a broadcast receiver. Now, let's think, why am I talking about that in Android? Are we going to listen to radio here? No, not that idea. Okay, but the idea of a broadcast and a receiver comes into picture when it comes to Android in a particular fashion. Let's see what it does. Okay, Android apps can send or receive broadcast messages from the Android system or other Android apps. Okay, I want you to understand that statement, guys. That's very essential to understand all what I'm going to discuss later. Okay, that one sentence I've just put similar to publish, subscribe, design pattern. I don't know how many of you have come across design patterns before, but I've just put that as an idea. Those who already know design patterns will understand what I'm talking about. But till that comma, what you see, just read that statement once again to understand the definition, okay, of why we need this. Android apps, okay, whether your app or other app, okay, Android apps in general can send or receive broadcast messages. Now, when we have a radio at our hand, we can only receive radio signal. We can't send anything back to people. Okay, that's why it's called we call that as FM. Okay, it just receives that particular module, and then you can only listen to that. You cannot reply back to them. You'll have to call them and respond. Okay, so but here in Android app, you can send as well as receive broadcast messages. From where will you get this broadcast? From the system, Android system, which means operating system of Android or other Android apps. Okay, so the design pattern involved here is publish, subscribe. Okay, what do you mean by publish, subscribe? Basically, most of you would have seen this subscribe to our newsletter in almost all websites. Okay, once you subscribe, or you put your email address and click on subscribe, you start receiving mails from them. Okay, like for example, you will get mails from Amazon, Flipkart and all when there is a new offer, or probably every 2-3 days once you get a mail saying that there's a new offer coming up. Okay, be prepared, this is coming, that is coming, like that. But that message what you receive is not targeted to only you. They are sending it to everybody who is subscribed to their this one. So that is called publishing. So if you are in that list, okay, by the way, you can unsubscribe also. All emails will have that option of unsubscribing. Okay, so once you unsubscribe, which means anymore if they have any promotional emails, it will not come to you. Which means you are not ready to receive it. Just like that, even right now in your home or in wherever you are staying, there is an FM signal available, but you are not receiving it. It is there, but you are not receiving it. How do I receive it? You'll have to turn on the radio and tune into that particular frequency to listen to that particular message. Okay, so similarly, in your phone, every app is capable of sending and receiving messages. Okay, this concept should be clear, guys. Okay, let me move on. They are sent when an event of interest occurs. Now let's come to Android. What are the event of interest in Android? Okay, I'll tell you some simple examples. Just think of this. Okay, when your phone reaches 20% charge, less than 20% charge, there is an automatic notification coming from the system saying that your charge is low. Should I turn on power saver mode or battery saver mode? Okay, that so which means somebody has written a code in such a way that they are sitting and watching how much is your phone's battery percentage. Okay, think about that. That's one scenario. Another scenario is when, let's say that you are using Chrome in your mobile. Okay, in your Android app you are using a Chrome application and you are using internet. Okay, and suddenly internet went off. Okay, and you will see something, a small message from Chrome saying that no internet. Okay, and that page will be there, but once internet comes back, even without you refreshing, system will automatically refresh the page and show you the answer or show you the web result. Okay, keep that in also mind. That one more scenario. Now another scenario, what I can say is, most of you would have done this if you have a Bluetooth headphone. Okay, let's say that you have a Bluetooth headphone which is paired to your phone. Okay, so the next time you just turn on Bluetooth, and automatically your phone will connect to the Bluetooth device. Okay, just to turn on that particular mode, and automatically it will start connecting to that particular device. Okay, so these things are done using a concept. Okay, let's go a little bit in depth to understand that, but remember they are of a specific event of interest. Now when I'm using Chrome and I'm browsing a website, okay, internet goes off, and let's say that you went and turned on Bluetooth or turned off Bluetooth. That is not of interest to me. Okay, I am looking for internet, which means either you turn on Wi-Fi or you turn on mobile data. That is an event of interest to me. So I should be listening, or Chrome should be listening, whether there is a network available, whether through Wi-Fi or through Bluetooth. If there is a network available, Chrome should be able to restart or refresh the page. Okay, I hope you follow what I'm saying, right? So that is an event of interest. So if you, for example, there are right now a lot of FMs available. You choose or you tune into the FM which you like. That's your interest. Okay, just like that, there are a lot of broadcasts available, but we are only focused on the event of interest. We'll see some examples. Okay, so as soon as the system boots up, or when the device starts charging, or when the device is in less charge. Okay, these are all examples. When the system sends broadcast. Okay, so if you have installed an app which is a battery saver app, not inbuilt app, you went to the Play Store and you downloaded a battery saver app, and the next time you connect a charger, that battery saver app will automatically pop up saying that charger connected, this much time remaining to charge your phone, like that, and all it comes. Okay, that's a third party app. But how did that app know that my phone's charge, or I've connected the charger? The same idea. The system, Android system, sends a broadcast. Okay, remember this. And apps can also send custom broadcast. They can also send, okay, not only the system, the app itself can send broadcast, for example, to notify other apps of something that they might be interested in. Best example would be WhatsApp and Truecaller. Okay, most of you would have installed Truecaller in your phone. Okay, Truecaller typically sees all the calls which you receive. Okay, so if a phone number, if you get a call, Truecaller picks that up and gives you a message saying that this is the person who's trying to call. Okay, so do you think that Truecaller is sitting in the background and listening whether your call is coming? No, Truecaller does not do that. Okay, but rather Truecaller is given a broadcast receiver, which means as soon as a call comes to my phone, a broadcast is sent through the Android system that a call is coming. Okay, so automatically your call app will come in front. On at the same time, one more person is receiving that message, which is your Truecaller, and Truecaller comes in front and says that this is the number which is coming, this is the call which comes, and this is the person. Okay, this is one example. That is system event. Okay, but nowadays if you see, Truecaller also detects whatever comes from WhatsApp, which is not a system app. You have installed WhatsApp, which is something which you have created. It is a custom broadcast. WhatsApp also has been picked up by Truecaller, because WhatsApp sends a broadcast saying that there is a SMS come to me which has an unknown number, which is not in the contacts list of my phone. Okay, then Truecaller picks that number up and tells this number is this particular person. I've identified it from WhatsApp. That's a custom broadcast. I hope you got it what I'm saying. Okay, when a call comes, Truecaller comes up, that is a system broadcast, which means the operating system sends that signal and Truecaller picks it up. That is one broadcast. It's a system broadcast. What about custom? Custom is something which WhatsApp sends you. That is not a system app, but it sends a broadcast message which your Android Truecaller receives it. Okay, so remember that that's broadcasts and broadcast receiver in short. Okay, so how do I create or how do I utilize this particular service? Apps can register to receive specific broadcasts. Okay, specific broadcasts. Please remember that. When a broadcast is sent, the system automatically routes, which means you need not bother about it. It automatically takes care of it. Routes that broadcasts to apps that have subscribed to receive that particular type of broadcast. Okay, this is what I'm trying to tell. When a broadcast is sent, for example, if you're listening to a particular FM, if it is there in 93.5, when you go to that particular 93.5, then you receive that particular type of FM. Okay, and then you listen to that FM. That's the same thing which is happening in your phone. When a broadcast is sent, system automatically routes the broadcast to those apps which are subscribed to that particular, like say Amazon or Flipkart, whoever you have subscribed to, only those people will receive that mail. If I have unsubscribed from Amazon, I won't receive any mails from Amazon for that particular purpose. Okay, I hope you got it. That's a broadcast, publish and subscribe model. Generally speaking, broadcast can be used as a messaging system across the apps and outside of the normal user flow. Okay, now Truecaller would be the best example, guys, because it is not running in the background. It is not there anywhere. Once you finish using Truecaller, you can close it, you can exit that app and you can remove it from memory. But still, when a call comes, Truecaller will pop up. Okay, how does that do? Okay, is it running in the background? Is it a service? No, it's not a service. Okay, it's not an activity. So what is it? Okay, it is called a broadcast because as soon as a SMS or a call comes, okay, a system sends a broadcast saying that there is a call coming, and Truecaller has registered to listen to that call. So once that call arrives, on receive of that particular call, Truecaller pops up. That's what the permission it takes in the beginning itself from you. Okay. However, you must be careful not to abuse this opportunity because most of the apps do abuse it. Right now, you see that a lot of apps are getting banned from the Play Store, and a lot of apps are saying that security issues. All those things are because they look like a very decent app when you install, but what code they have written, what component they have used, you cannot make out. Okay, unless you are a true developer and understand how those code works. Okay, it is very difficult to find out whether any app is listening to me in the background. Okay, so unless you give permission, no app can listen to you or work in the background. That is how Android has made the security policy strict. Okay, right now here also I'm just telling that you should be careful not to abuse this opportunity to respond to a broadcast and run jobs in the background that can contribute to a slow system performance. Some apps will drastically slow down your performance because they're still listening in the background. Okay, which means when they are running in the background, your RAM will be consumed, obviously. Okay, so that is the problem, and you should be very careful of using a broadcast unless it is absolutely required. Okay, I've just put a diagram to just take this as an example of what are the things. Okay, battery low, incoming call, incoming SMS, Wi-Fi is available, Bluetooth is available, charger you have connected or disconnected, etc., etc. There are so many things which your system can listen to. Okay, the one which I have highlighted, incoming SMS, is the record program which I am going to do. Okay, I told you that in the record program that most of you would have seen that OTP. Okay, so when you install WhatsApp or Telegram or any other app for the first time, how do they verify whether I am a valid user? They ask me my mobile number and send one OTP to that particular number. My app automatically receives that OTP. Okay, the OTP will be a full-fledged SMS saying that your OTP is so and so number, and if you have any issues, please do contact us and do not share this OTP. Like big message they will send. But from that entire message, your system will only pick up that 4-letter or 5-digit number and put it in this particular text box. Okay, how is that possible? Broadcast receiver. Okay, why? As soon as an SMS comes, my app is able to detect that an SMS has come. How? Okay, that is not a service. That is not an activity. That's a broadcast receiver, because as soon as an SMS comes to my system will send a broadcast throughout the operating system saying that an SMS has come. So whichever app has registered to listen to that particular broadcast will be able to react. So if you see WhatsApp, when you install for the first time, WhatsApp will ask you 3 permissions, out of which one permission is allow WhatsApp to read and send SMS. Okay, That's one permission. But then basically it's looking to read SMS from your phone. Once it reads the SMS, it can pick out only the number from that SMS and put it in the text box. Okay, that is what broadcast receiver does. So that's a best example which we have all used in our phones. Okay, that's an example of broadcast receiver, guys, not service. Okay, not content provider, not service, not an activity. It is a broadcast receiver. Okay, so we should be able to see each and every feature in Android and distinguish them and tell them what does this do, how does this particular thing happen. All these things what you see will come under any of those four components only: activity, services, broadcast receiver, content provider. Okay, keep that in mind. Let's move on. Okay, so the system automatically sends broadcast when various system events occurs, such as switches in and out of an airplane mode. This is what I'm going to do today to explain. Okay, so when you turn on Wi-Fi, when you turn off Bluetooth, when you turn on mobile data, or you just put airplane mode, all these will be switched off. Okay, so if I wanted to check whether my phone is in airplane mode or not, okay, not only airplane, anything you can take. I'm just taking that as an example. Okay, that broadcast is sent to all apps that are subscribed to receive this particular event. The moment you put your phone in airplane mode and try to play a game, okay, which has advertisements in it, just think about this, guys. Try this in your phone. If your phone has some games which has advertisements, okay, Google ads or any advertisements which keeps popping up, turn on your airplane mode and try to play that game. Okay, you won't get any disturbance from the advertisements. You can continue playing your game properly. Why? Because once airplane mode is on, okay, which means your app is automatically understanding that you do not have internet at all. You cannot access internet because you have put airplane mode on. So if there is no internet, I cannot download advertisements from the internet and show it to you. Okay, so there will not be anything. But then while you're playing the game, just turn on airplane mode and then try to play again. Okay, you'll get advertisements again. Because the moment your airplane mode is off, when you come out of airplane mode, your system tries to communicate to the internet. Okay, that's because that app is listening whether your airplane mode is turned on or off. If you keep the airplane mode on, probably it will not show you any advertisements. You can just skip all the advertisements and go. You can play it as normal as if you have paid and removed the advertisements. Okay, check that and you'll understand what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to do now in this program, but let me just finish the concept quickly. Okay, now the broadcast message itself is wrapped in an intent object. Okay, the next class I'll be talking a little bit more about intents and intent filters, guys. Okay, that's why in this class I'm not focusing on that much, but remember why we used intent: to move from one place to another. Okay, a target, so we just wrap them in a target and then send them. Okay, it identifies the event which has occurred. That intent will tell you what event has occurred. Okay, so just like we did Fibonacci series, you remember that I passed the data, the number which is entered in one activity to another activity using intent. We use the keyword called extra. So that will be part of the broadcast message. So you can easily get what was the you can see that there's a, for example, I've written android.intent.action.airplane mode. Okay, and when you see something in full cap letter, I hope you understood what it is. It's a constant value. You cannot change it. You can just use it. Okay, it can also include additional information bundled to its extra field. If you remember the Fibonacci series program, you can remember this, or you can understand this particular statement. Okay, let me move on. Here, this is what I'm going to do today. Airplane mode will have a small intent which will tell whether that airplane mode was on or off, which means Boolean, yes or no. Airplane mode on, airplane mode off. There is no other option there. So the data type which is associated with that airplane mode or Wi-Fi on or Bluetooth on or mobile data on is just yes or no, on or off. That's why you see in the notification you have a toggle on off. That's it. If on off means what data type will I store it in Java? Boolean, true or false. Okay, keep that in mind. Now let's see what are the types of broadcast receiver. There are two ways. Okay, please be very careful with the two ways, guys, because there is a clear distinction in the latest versions. That's why I'm telling this. Okay, number one, through manifest. You guys remember that first folder in your Android project structure is Android manifest. Okay, they are also called as static broadcast receivers. These types of receivers are normally declared in the manifest, and please note the last statement what is made: works even if the app is closed. Okay, which is a very, very risky thing, and that was now disabled after Oreo. Okay, please remember that this is one type. I'll show you both the types today, but I recommend you to use a second type. The first type is also existing, okay, and it was working successfully till API level 26, I guess. That is Oreo. Okay, these types of receivers are declared in the manifest and works even if the app itself is closed. Okay. Second type is context registered receivers. In other words, dynamic broadcast receivers. They work only if the app is active or if it is minimized. What do you mean by minimized? You opened an app and you clicked on the home button. Okay, what have I done right now? I have not closed my app, but rather I have just minimized my app. Okay, right now I'm talking to, let's say that I'm listening to music. I clicked on home button. I opened WhatsApp. Now music is right now minimized. I'm opening WhatsApp and right now listening. So if an app is currently running, or is it active or minimized, that time only if a receiver works, then it is a dynamic broadcast receiver, or specifically look at the keyword here, context registered receivers. What is the context? Context is wherever, whichever area you're working on, that's the context. If you're in the context of an activity or you're in the context of a service, that's what we did yesterday in the last class. Okay, context of a service, we wrote the toast. Okay, in the context of the service, we wrote the music player. Okay, please remember that. That's a context based one. So only if that app is working or minimized, okay, then if it works, that is dynamic broadcast receiver or context registered receiver. Please note the keywords used here. Two types. Okay, the first type, broadcast receiver. If you declare a broadcast receiver in your manifest, system launches your app if the app is not already running. Example, your Truecaller. Okay, even if right now Truecaller is not running in your phone, the moment a call comes, Truecaller automatically opens up. Okay, why? How does it open up? Okay, the app is not running. I just removed everything from memory, but the Truecaller picked up as soon as a call came. That is because they have declared it in manifest. Okay, and latest versions will tell to ask one more extra permission to draw on top of other apps. That is latest version. That's why I'm telling the next point. If your app targets API level 26 or higher, what is 26? Oreo 8.0, Android 8.0 and above, you cannot use the manifest to declare a receiver for implicit broadcast. Okay, except for a few. Some are allowed, some are not allowed. Okay, you'll understand that when you start developing. So, is it compulsory for me to learn everything possible? No. Focus on one which is required for your app. Okay, if your app requires a broadcast receiver, target that and find out what type will be proper for that particular type of app. Okay, so keep that in mind. That is one. Let me move on. How do I do that in the manifest? Okay, I'm just giving an overview in the slides, guys. It's better I show you in working. So let me quickly skip these slides. First one, you just need to specify a receiver element in your app's manifest. Okay, in last class, I had talked about there is an application tag in manifest. Inside that application tag, you have activity. Yesterday, we added service. Today, I'm going to add a receiver. When I add a receiver tag, you see that again, dot my broadcast receiver. What is that then? The class name. Okay, so you are attaching the receiver to a particular class name and you're filtering and telling this receiver to only listen to two things. One, boot completed. As soon as the system has been restarted, okay, and the booting process of your phone is done, if my app can be called. One. Second one, in case you changed your input method, which means from a keyboard, Swift key to some other keyboard, if you have changed, okay, then I will start coming up. Okay, that's just an example I've given here. I will not use it, but this is how you tell system to receive, okay, or listen to a particular channel. This is like mentioning 93.5 or 98.3, like that. I'm telling a particular radio station name, and if that radio station is broadcasting, listen. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm telling receive only these two stations. Okay, like that we are telling. So which means when this particular boot complete happens in your operating system will send that broadcast, and this receiver will receive it and call this particular class to do further actions. Boot complete has happened, call this class. If the input method is changed, call this class. Okay, like that. They are the filters are nothing but to specify the broadcast action your receiver subscribes to. That's what I just told. Okay. Second type, if your second part is that you implement on receive method. Please note, I said in the previous slide that, for example, if boot complete happens, call this class. Once this class is called, this particular method will be called in that class called on receive. That's an implementation of the interface. Okay, on receive should be called, and let's say for example, this will be like this. Okay. My broadcast receiver is the class name. I'm extending it from broadcast receiver. I have implemented one method called on receive, and then they've put a toast here. Okay, so when will this toast be shown? This toast will be shown as soon as the boot complete happens, because my broadcast receiver class will be called, and on receive of that, this will happen. This code will get executed. Okay. Second type is context registered receiver. By the way, I'm just quickly going through this particular slides because I would like to show them in working. Okay. So how do I create it in context? Which means write it in code itself. No need to go to the manifest. Directly in the code, you can just create something like this: broadcast receiver equal to new broadcast receiver, my broadcast receiver. Okay. And create an intent filter inside that itself. Okay, and add that action to that particular thing. Okay, you can do like this, or I'll show you another simpler way. I've just shown the larger or the lengthier way, then I'll show you a simpler way shortly. And then register receiver. Please note, this is the second way, and this is the only way which works in both the operating systems, old ones as well as new ones. This will work, but old ones will work with only the first method will only work till API level 25. 26 and above will only work with this. Okay, so all versions will work with the second version. So I'll be showing you both, but I will always recommend you to use the second version, writing everything in code. Okay, and they will receive broadcast as long as their registering context is valid. Okay, what is the context of that registering place? Activity. Whichever activity you're running in, if that is valid, this will work. Okay. So, for example, if you register within an activity context, you receive broadcast as long as the activity is not destroyed. Please keep that in mind. Even if my activity has stopped, my broadcast will work. But if my activity is destroyed, context registered receiver will not work. Static register will work. Okay, keep that in mind. Let me just go to the code. I think this is enough. To stop, if I use register receiver, to stop it, you should say unregister receiver. That's all. Okay, so be mindful of where you register and unregister the receiver. Very important, guys. Okay, so you should, if you are registering in on create, you should unregister in on destroy. Okay, I will not use on create and on destroy. I'll use the other ones, on resume and on stop. Okay, what is on resume? That is the position where your activity is ready and ready to start interactive. That is resume. When stop, as soon as your user interface has gone away from you, that is on stop. Okay, so I'll not write an on create and on destroy. I'll rather write it in on pause, sorry, on resume and on stop. Okay, so with this, I'll just go to the program. Let me stop the PPT here. Let me open program. Okay, so guys, there is a small thing which I told you in the theory. Please remember that API level 26 and above will not support the first method. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to create a program which will tell me whether the airplane mode was turned on or off. Okay, which means I have to listen to an airplane mode happening. Okay, so first thing I'm going to write old code. Okay, please note the code what I'm about to write or what I'm about to do will only work till API level 25. Okay, which is 7.1 point something. Okay, but 8.0, if your phone has 8.0 and above, okay, just check your operating system of the phone or the emulator which you have used. Okay, so for that I've created two emulators now. One is Marshmallow, one is I think right now the Android 11 version. API level 30, I've created my previous emulator. Now I've created one more emulator which is Lollipop, I think. Okay, so I've chosen two emulators so that I can demonstrate this old and new one. So in the old fashion, I hope you guys understood what I'm trying to do. Let me just check this label and I'll give an ID for that label. Okay, so I'll just put label or LBL status. Okay, this is the status of my app. Okay, so I'll just say airplane mode is available or not. So here I will just say status of airplane mode. Okay, let me just change the size, or let me just change the appearance. Okay, I'm just going to display the status of the airplane mode. Okay, in this particular label, and let me also make it a different color. Okay, so I just have a label there. Nothing else is there in the design. Okay, so I just want to display the status of the airplane mode. Okay, so how do I do this? First, what I'm doing right now is the traditional way or the old way. In other words, the first method, static, registering it in the in the manifest based, or we call it as static registered receiver. So first let me go to project. Okay, I want you guys to notice that I'm going to right click on the app and add a new. Let me go to other and choose broadcast receiver. Let me keep it for a second. Please note what I've done is I've right clicked on the app, new, other in Android apps. Okay, and then I'm going to choose broadcast receiver. Once you choose that, it asks the name for that class. So let me just give the name. I'll just give AP mode receiver, airplane mode receiver. Okay, let me click on finish. Okay, so now I have airplane mode receiver created. Okay, please note airplane mode, this is the name which I gave. It extends from broadcast receiver class. Okay, and it implements a method called on receive. I'll not touch this now. Let me go to the manifest directly first. Okay, now I'm in the manifest. I want you guys to notice this app. This is an app. This app has one activity and one receiver. Main activity is already there. I have now one receiver also. So receiver is the open and close tag. Inside that, let me write the code. Okay, what am I supposed to filter, or what am I supposed to listen? Okay, so first let me just start typing. There's only one choice there, intent filter. And inside intent filter, I am going to write action. Okay, Android name. Which one am I looking for? Airplane mode. Okay, I'm going to just put that because it's a simple one. So all I have done so far is I have told I have a receiver in my application. Okay, and I'm filtering from a lot of activities, or a lot of broadcasts is sent from my system. Okay, the one which I want you to listen is the airplane mode of the phone. Okay, some people call it as flight mode and all those things. That is what the user sees. Okay, but Android always keeps it as airplane mode. Okay, so this is the one which is sent, a broadcast action is sent. The user has switched the phone into or out of airplane mode. This will be sending a state. You can see that description which is given here. It sends a boolean saying state. State is true or false. True means airplane mode is on. Okay, and false means the airplane mode is off. That's all. Okay, so this is a protected intent that can only be sent by the system. I hope you can read the documentation here. It is only sent by the system. So I am receiving that. I am saying receive this particular, filter it and receive only this particular. Why do I filter it? Because a lot of things are sent by the system. I am listening to this particular action called as airplane mode. Okay, so once it changes, whom should I call? You should call this class called as AP mode receiver. Okay, please note that airplane mode, when it is receiving, whether it is turning on or off, whatever it is. Okay, I want you to call AP mode receiver. Let me go to AP mode receiver now. And in that class, what is it said? On receive. As soon as you have received that signal, what am I supposed to do? I'll delete that already existing code and write my own code. Okay, so first I'm going to write a toast to see whether it works or not. Okay, and let me put the text saying airplane mode changed. Nothing else I'm writing, whether it is on or off and all. I'll not write right now. I'll write it later, but I just want to see whether my app is able to pull that and understand that it has happened or not. Okay, which means as soon as you change the airplane mode of the phone, am I able to detect that airplane mode has changed or not? Please note the way in which I have written right now is manifest based registering. Okay, I've registered the receiver in the manifest. If you do this, it will only support devices which are less than 26 API level. Okay, but if the one which I created, the emulator which I created, if you remember, was not that way. Okay, it is a latest version, which means this code will not work. So I'm not going to run it in that emulator. I've already created another emulator which is Lollipop, which is lesser than 26. Okay, let me run in that particular emulator and check if this works. Okay, what should happen when I'm running the phone, or when my app is running or not? It doesn't matter, because this is static, guys. Please remember, I told you in the slide, static receiver will work even if my app is closed. Okay, so even if my app is closed, when I switch on airplane mode or switch off airplane mode, there should be a toast coming. Okay, you can see the code what I've written. I've just written a toast saying that as soon as you receive the intent which says airplane mode has changed, put a toast saying airplane mode changed. That's it. Whether it is turned on or off, I'll do it shortly, but please note that's all I'm looking for. Let me go back to the emulator and let's wait for the emulator to start. Once the emulator starts, all I'm going to do is turn on or off of airplane mode. That's all. Okay, right now it is on. Let me just turn it off. Okay, Let my app get installed here, then we will start. Just a clarification, why am I not using the other emulator which I had, the old emulator in what I used in the last class, is because that emulator uses Android 11, okay, which is the latest version available. In the latest version means API level 30, which means about 26 obviously, right? So this code will not work there, okay. My app will be just blank, it will be just staying there, it will not be working at all. Why it will not work is because API level, there is a difference, okay, and my app will not be registered and it will not listen. But here, this emulator, what you're seeing right now, is working with 5.1, Android 5.1. Okay, so by the way, I've not changed anything in the label. I just want to see whether a toast comes or not. So let me go to the notification and let me remove this airplane mode and see, you can see there is a notification coming or a toast coming saying that airplane mode changed, which means I'm able to listen to this particular status change. Okay, let me do it once again. Okay, and by now, let me just exit this app. Okay, which means I am right now destroyed this activity. Now in the system, I'm just going and turning on airplane mode. You can see that the toast still comes. Okay, there is a toast coming even when my app is not running. Okay, let me try to clear it from memory. So nothing is running right now. No apps are there. No recent apps. Nothing is there. Okay, but let me just go and turn on off airplane mode. I can still get the notification. Please note that this is still working. Even my app is not there in memory. I removed everything, but my broadcast was receiving. Okay, my broadcast received, and when the broadcast changed or the Wi-Fi or the airplane mode, when I turned on or off, I'm getting a toast from my application, even though my application is not even running in the phone. It's not running in the app. It's not running, or it's not even there in the memory, but it is still able to detect whether the airplane mode is on or off, because I've told you to receive it once you have listened to this particular status called airplane mode. Now, if I run the same program, that same ditto program, if I run it in Oreo, okay, a phone which has Oreo in it, okay, or above, Oreo or above, okay, it will not work. Please understand that. So how do I make it work in all the phones? Okay, right now, if I close this emulator and open the other emulator, it won't work. So let me just close this emulator now. I hope you understood, guys. It is a working code, properly working code. That's why I wanted to show you an old emulator first. Let me close this emulator. Let me run the same program, same ditto program in the latest emulator, which is above Oreo. Okay, let me just change the emulator. I know it's a little bit slow, but please bear with me. Let me just change it to another emulator, which is latest operating system, which is obviously above 26. The API level which I am about to run is 30, which means this code is not allowed, or it's not possible here. Okay, let me just close this app. Let me just try with my app. Okay, because I'm waiting for my app to get installed. Let me close this. Okay. So now it is trying to install it in this emulator. This is the latest version of Android, guys. Remember, same code. I did not change the code. The same code, I'm running it here. I have not changed it at all. Okay, so but now let me go back and turn on or off airplane mode. Now I'm going to just turn off airplane mode. No toast is coming. No toast at all. Okay, my app is running, by the way. Please note, I am in the app itself. I'm trying to turn on or off this airplane mode. I'm not getting any toast here, which means the old version of Android supports whatever code I've written so far, but the new version does not support. Okay, so how do I write a code which will work in both old phones as well as new phones? Use the second method. Okay, so just for demonstration, I did the first method, guys. I'm going to take it all back. Okay, so let me come out and let this be commented out. I'll just keep this receiver, but all I'm going to do is I'm going to remove it from manifest. Okay, I'm going to write it in code itself, so I'm going to remove it from manifest. Please note, I've removed it from manifest. Now I'm going to right click on the receiver code which I generated, refractor, and say safely delete. So I'll click on OK, it will be deleted. Now there is no separate file for receiver. Okay, please note why it is not there, because I am now targeting all the phones, not new phone alone, not old phone alone. Any phone for that sake should work in the code which I'm about to write. I'll go to main activity. Okay. Now please note, I am going to modify this particular label and display what is the status. Okay. So let me put a gravity and say center so that it will come in the middle. Okay. I'll just, because the word is too big, I'll just make it as just status. Otherwise it will be wrapping it. So I'll just say status. Okay. I will attach the word enabled or disabled to it. That's all. So let me come back to main activity. And first let me talk to that text view or the label which I created. So let me create a private text view. Okay, let me name it as result label. Okay, so I'll just put result LBL, just like that. And then in the on create, all I'm going to do is I'm going to say result LBL is equal to find view by ID r.id.lbl status. Just show me that label. Now I have mapped it, so it's available globally. Okay, this is available right now globally. That's all. Now, second step, I need to create a receiver. Please remember that I need to create a receiver and it should be available. So I'm writing it outside on create, but inside the class. Okay, I'm going to create a private broadcast receiver. So I'm going to create the word broadcast receiver. Okay, let me name it as receiver or AP receiver just for my idea. Okay, I'll just put AP receiver. What is AP? Airplane mode receiver is equal to new. Just type new and press control space. You'll get that broadcast receiver suggestion. Press enter. Everything else system will take care. Okay, it creates that method same like how you saw a little bit before. All right, and you have an on receive method available. Okay, it gives you the context from which it is called, and if at all any data is there, that intent will carry that data also. Okay, so what am I going to do here? Okay, in this mode, I am only going to find out whether that status is enabled or not. I told you it is a boolean, so I'm going to create a boolean value status is equal to intent. Okay, the intent which is passed, okay, this intent which is passed dot get boolean extra name. You saw that in the description there, it is state. Okay, and you should give a default value. Let me just give default as false. So now status will the intent, from this intent which is passed, I'll get to know what's the state of the airplane mode, whether it is available or not. Okay, whether it's true, enabled or not. Okay, so now let me create a method or a word. So I'll just say string mode. Okay, whether it is enabled or not, I need to find out. So I'll write a ternary operator. I'll just say status, get me the status. If it is true, then my text should be enabled. Okay, if it is false, then the text should be disabled. I'll keep like this is a ternary operator. Okay, which means instead of writing if else, if status is equal to true, mode is equal to enabled. If status equal to false, mode is equal to disabled. I wrote it in one line because I used ternary operator. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a toast here, or why toast? I have a label there, so I'll just call that result label dot. Okay, please note I'm going to set the text. What should I set the text? Already the word status is there in the design. Okay, I just need to concatenate it. So how do I do that? First, get that result label text which is already there. So I'm going to say result LBL dot get text, which is the status word is already there. Okay, concatenate that with mode, what I just got from the user. Get text, which is already there, concatenate that with mode. That's all. Okay, if you want, you can also convert it into a string so that it is easier for you to look at. Okay, so whatever you got from the label, get the text, convert it into a string, concatenate that with the mode what you have got, enabled or disabled. Okay, that's all. When you receive it, this will be the label will change of my particular thing. But then I have never called this. Please remember that last part of my theory slide, I said register receiver, unregister receiver. So when will I register this receiver? Okay, on resume. What is on resume, guys? Please remember that on resume is the last state in which your app is actually ready to interact. So at that place, I'll just say register receiver. Okay, and it asks two things. Number one, what is the receiver's name? I already have the receiver here. I created as AP receiver. I'll pass that as the receiver. Second one, what is the filter? Please remember, I did this filter in manifest a little bit before, but now I don't have it in manifest. I have to write it here only. So since you can see that intent filter looks like a class, let me create an object of that class. Okay, new intent filter. And within brackets, what am I supposed to pass? Okay, I am supposed to pass what type of thing am I looking for? I am looking for airplane. Okay, I'm looking for a specific word called airplane mode changed. Okay, you remember that in the first class, I mean the first part itself, I told you that it is available. So I'm going to create a new intent filter. I'll say what type of intent am I looking for? Intent dot airplane mode changed. This is the intent I'm looking for. That's all. Okay, first register receiver is the method. It takes two parameters. One is what receiver should I call. Second one is what type of filter, what type of channel do you want to listen to. I said create an intent filter with the intent as airplane mode changed. That's all. Now receiver is registered when the app is resumed, which means my app is interactive, my receiver is ready. And I'm going to say on stop. What is on stop? As soon as you move out of my app, I will stop. In other words, unregister receiver. Only one parameter I need to pass. What is the receiver's name? AP receiver. Done. Okay, this is what we have done. This is the theory part, what I was explaining in the slide. I've just shown to you. Let's run this program and check whether it works. Okay, what should happen according to the code what I've written right now? When you change the airplane mode of the phone, okay, my label should tell whether it is enabled or disabled. Okay, so as soon as my app, the activity in which the main activity has resumed, this receiver will be registered, which means it will start listening to your airplane mode changes. And once the airplane mode changes, it will call AP receiver. Once AP receiver is called, it will call this method called on receive and do this 3 lines of code. Okay, so once these 3 lines of code is set, you will see what is the result label shortly. So right now the result label will be just status, nothing else, because I have not changed anything after this activity has started. Now the activity is resumed and it is working already. Let me just go back to my this one and change this airplane mode. It is on right now. Let me turn it off. Okay, so you can see my label changed saying status disabled, which means my airplane mode is disabled right now. Okay, let me open my system again and turn off or turn on airplane mode and wait for some time. Once it is there, please note I said whatever status is there, get that and then set the text. So it changed like this. Okay, I think I can make it a little bit better by just putting like this. Status colon enable, so that I don't have to keep changing it every time. Okay, I'll just put this here. All right, this will be better. And here I will just say set text mode. Then my work is much simpler. Okay, let me just run it again. I hope you guys follow what is happening. The text and all is secondary. You understood the concept, I hope. When the app has resumed, I have registered the receiver and I'm waiting for airplane mode change. Once the airplane mode changes, I call AP receiver. Once I call AP receiver, on receive method is called and these 3 lines of code is getting executed. So what do you see? You see the status enabled or disabled based on the status of your intent. Okay, whatever mode we have set it on. So let me go back to the status. Let me just turn on, I'll disable airplane mode. It says status disabled. Okay, let me come out and turn on airplane mode. Now, once it is done, status should make, once it is enabled, it should say status is enabled. Done. So my app is now receiving broadcast. Okay, which means the airplane mode is not what I created. System has this event. I received it. I showed you status based on that. Okay, but what if I click on back? What will happen? My activity will get destroyed. So nothing will change. Okay, so let me just disable it. Now come back to my app. No changes. Nothing is happening. Let me come back to this. It will show old one because my app activity got restarted. Nothing to do with my broadcast receiver. Okay, this code will work in the old phone also. Okay, the second method, which is context registered receiver, or some people call it as dynamic receiver. Okay, so this is the way, guys. With this, I'll stop for today. In the next class, I'll be doing another broadcast receiver, but that time we'll be using SMS. Okay, so for that we need a lot of concepts. So tomorrow I'll be discussing all the concepts which are required to do that program. Okay, so I'll stop with this for here today. If you have any questions, please do ask.